that we're back. Good morning, Marianas. That's your live look at traffic outside right now. It is a beautiful day. Can you believe it's only 74 degrees in Saipan? 74 degrees? Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. 74 degrees at 7:13 in the morning right now. And we are not like up there in Tapachow or something. It's not a super windy day. It is just a cool, cool day. Well, we're going to hear more about, I see you guys in the comments already about IPI 2.0. I guess it's better than STI 2.0. It's all right. We are moving, and we're getting ready to bring you guys a little bit of traffic and tell you all about what's happening here in the Marianas. So great to have you guys with us this morning. It is Good Morning Marianas, and we are with you for the long haul. We're here with you today, and we're going to get into all of our top stories and all that stuff. But one of the things that we want to get to first is going to be our traffic, to make sure that you know where to go while you can, because it's actually pretty nice outside right now. Boy, the camera looks off a little bit. I bumped it this morning, and it's off a little bit. Maybe I got to go here. Maybe I got to go there. Where are we going? All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. Let's talk about traffic a little bit. Get you guys, let me clear my throat. That's right. Hit me with the hornets. All right, here we go. Take a look at traffic over there right now. Over by the tennis courts at AMP, things are moving just fine. A little bit slow across the street over there by Twins Market, but everyone's probably in there trying to get their latest vape or something. I don't know. Moving down Beach Road. Beach Road's looking wide open. And Middle Road's not too bad at all. A little slow over there by ExoMart, but things are looking pretty smooth over there. Even over at IT&E, the intersection that matters, the place where connections matter, it's a little bit slow. It's starting to back up a little bit past on its way to Waterloo, but not all the way down there. And over at the AK, the former AK intersection, not too bad, not too bad. And if I want to Larry David, I'd be like, it's pretty good. All right, anyway, all the way down Beach Road looks pretty good. Even all the way down to Chalumpiao. What's going on? Chalumpiao not bad at all, because it's probably just a little bit early. Hey, in about 15 minutes, that's probably going to change. Over there on Monsignor Martinez, it's not that bad, but where it meets up with Isa Drive, starting to get a little slow. I don't know what magic happens by the Iglesia de Cristo Church, but somewhere around there, CMG kind of turns into Isa Drive, and that's where fast traffic goes to die. That's right, it is slow over there. No matter where you go, around this time of the morning, it's a little bit slow over there by that intersection, but not too bad. Even by San Vicente Elementary, it's not that bad. We're scrolling all the way around the back road, and things are looking pretty good, so not bad at all. Traffic is, 7:16 in the morning, 7:16, that's your Buffalo time, no kidding. So it's all right. Chris Tomakane with the comment of the morning already. We're talking about how cold it is outside. He says, did someone leave the doors open at CHCC? Yes, that's exactly it. Good morning to see you. Oh, my goodness. Great to see all you guys and all different things. Whether you're watching on the NMI News Service, on Good Morning Marianas' channel, or you're watching anywhere, maybe you're watching on YouTube. I want to say thanks for tuning in and being with us this morning as we start talking about some of the things that are happening here in the CNMI and all around the world. Not to mention, we'll give you your updates from the Associated Press. We didn't do that at all yesterday, because we jumped right into our headlines, and our headlines pretty beefy yesterday. But today what we're going to do, we're going to get you started right away with one of our regular features, getting you up to date with the Associated Press. Again, yesterday was Talking Turkey. We had to hit all the big stuff because, and we're going to get back to it too. We're going to talk about that, the money that went to the casino commissioners, and where the mayor of Saipan would prefer that would have been helping him fill out the amount of FTEs that he's got instead of paying back pay for an obligation that the CNMI didn't need in the first place. Anyway, here's the latest update, hot off the presses from the Associated Press.
AP News, I'm Mike Hempen. Harsh cold has descended on the nation's midsection as a polar vortex grips the Rockies and northern plains. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says extreme cold weather will hit his state Tuesday and Wednesday.
There will be widespread freezing across almost the entire state of Texas, and even temperatures down to near 0 degrees, with wind chill factors being below 0 degrees.
The National Weather Service is warning of life-threatening cold as wind chills drop to minus 60 in parts of North Dakota and minus 50 in parts of Montana. Tuesday morning is expected to be even colder. Mexico awaits a new response from Google on a dispute over the Gulf of Mexico name.
Mexico says it's waiting for a new response from Google to its request that the tech company fully restore the name Gulf of Mexico to its Google Maps before filing a lawsuit.
Y que por eso en Estados Unidos el nombre del Golfo de México se ve Golfo de América si uno lo ve desde allá.
During a news conference Monday, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum shared a letter from Google saying the tech company will not change the name after President Trump declared the body of water the Gulf of America. Sheinbaum says the mapping policy violates Mexican sovereignty because the U.S. only has jurisdiction over around 46% of the Gulf, the rest controlled by Mexico and Cuba. The Mexican president also says, "We will wait for Google's response, and if not, we will proceed to court." I'm Julie Walker.
The apparent leader of a cult-like group known as the Zizians has been arrested in Maryland along with another group member. That's according to Maryland State Police. Authorities say 34-year-old Jack Lasota was arrested Sunday, along with 33-year-old Michelle Zyko. They face multiple charges. This is AP News. AP correspondent Lawrence Brooks looks at upcoming talks over Ukraine between U.S. and Russian officials.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said his country won't take part in U.S.-Russia talks this week on ending the war and won't accept their outcome. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has arrived in Riyadh to lead the U.S. delegation in Tuesday's talks with top Russian officials. They aim to restore ties and negotiate a peaceful settlement to the war in Ukraine and prepare a meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin. It comes as Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, who will be taking part in discussions, confirmed Putin is ready to resume dialogue with the U.S. on issues such as Ukraine in the Middle East. But Zelensky has said his government has not been invited to the talks over restoring peace in Ukraine, so they would yield no results. I'm Lawrence Brooks.
I'm Mike Hempen, AP News.
All right, welcome back, Mariana. So we are here. That is your update. You already got your traffic, and you got your weather, and you got your news. Well, we didn't give you a whole lot of weather. We did tell you it's 74 degrees outside right now, and it is. And you're looking at it right now. That is not a dusting of snow. It's just starting to get bright. I got to change the exposure. 74 degrees, but the humidity's at 97%. Woke up and had that little layer of dew on the windshield. Haven't seen that in quite some time. But again, it's so nice and cool. It's going to be mostly sunny today. That's pretty good. We're going to have a high near 85 and a very, very, very light wind. It's going to get even calmer as the day goes on. Tonight, though, we might get a little bit of rain. That's right, a little bit of rain tonight. Oh, my goodness, what's going to happen? I'm going to melt. No, you're going to be fine. Don't worry about that. And, oh, wow. It is definitely going to be nice the next few days. The wind's going to pick up throughout the week. But for right now, it's looking pretty good. Tomorrow, we're going to hear more about it by getting our good buddy Landon Aidlet on the program. And if you think it's cold here, you got to see where he is right now out there in the mainland. He's walking around in snow. He was showing us some of those videos, and it was wild. Well, man, I'll tell you what. We're going to talk about somebody who's in cold weather in a little bit because we're going to talk about our representative to the United States House of Representatives, Kimberly King Hines. She put out a video just a few minutes ago that we're going to get to. And it's in response to this big story that's going on because one of the representatives that she met with from the GOP said, hey, yeah, all that idea about like Annex 6 and all that stuff, fantastic. Yeah, we don't want to have that visa-free waiver anymore with the CNMI and Guam and China. That's it. That's the new deal from Republican representative from Wisconsin, Tom Tiffany. So maybe you need to do some morning meetings and say maybe a little breakfast at Tiffany's. All right. But here's the deal. So here's a letter that came out on Valentine's Day. There was not a lot of love there between the representative and the CNMI because Representative Tiffany wrote a letter to the Homeland Security head, Kristi Noem, and said, hey, we want to end the loophole that allows Chinese nationals to visit the CNMI without a visa, period. That's it. And that's it. So we do have the letter right here. It's the letter is called, it says, specifically he asked Noem to take steps to end the January 2024 rule, which is the EVS tap rule that they're doing. He wants to get rid of that altogether. Now, it's so funny because people had asked us about this and wanted us to talk about it a little bit. And yeah, we'll talk about it. That's fine. But the thing is that this is not like, this shouldn't be a shock to this, anybody who's out here at all. I mean, this is literally the writing that's been on the wall for a long time now. We have been seeing the folks from the mainland talk about the CNMI in disparaging terms with regards to the Chinese folks who come here and go elsewhere. That's just how it works. I mean, that's not a new thing. But everybody's pushing for the Annex 6. It's almost as if they're not listening or hearing what the rest of the folks in the mainland are saying. And I think that's exactly it. So that's why I don't think this is a big shock that this has been happening. It's like, I likened it, so when I was talking with somebody yesterday, I'm like, everyone who's pushing for the CNMI's Annex 6, it's like Sisyphus, that he's not a god, right? He's just that person who had to push that boulder up the hill. What is that story anyway? But you ever seen that where the guy never is going to make it up the hill? I wish I was speaking more intelligently about Sisyphus. I know about it. The myth of Sisyphus. In Greek mythology, Sisyphus was the founder and the king of Ephyria, which is now known as Corinth. He reveals Zeus's abduction of Virginia. All right, anyway. But the main thing is that his punishment in the underworld is that he had to do the eternal task of rolling that boulder up the hill, right? Only to have it roll back down. It never makes it all the way up there. Well, anyway, that's what it feels like. We're trying to get this Annex 6 thing. We're trying to roll that boulder up the hill, and it just keeps coming back because there's no way that this is going to happen. You're looking at exactly what the GOP in the mainland is telling us. They're saying, hey, we don't like that. We also don't like the Chinese. We don't want those Chinese owning the land in the mainland over by our farms and over by our military bases, and we certainly don't want them coming over there and seeing them. I mean, okay, that's my hillbilly-ish. Hey, good morning, guys. Good to see you. Keith, thanks for tuning in this morning. Great to see you. Juan, good to see you this morning. Pilling, my man, great to see you. Eric, thanks for tuning in. Well, I got to put something on in the background here. Gus, thank you. Lesser Mwanwai, great to see you. Thanks for being in here. Toba Castro, the tip man from Dan. Chris, Tomakani, great to see you guys. Both of you guys. And Ann, of course, always great to see you guys. And I can see you guys everywhere. Louisa, oh my God, that game last night. Oh, and it went by fast, too. It was a quick one. All right. But great to see all you guys over there on the other side. Sean, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Peter Raymond, great to see you. And but getting back to where we're at with this, like, well, we're trying to get Chinese tourists because we know that it will help our economy. Whether you like the idea of it or not, the fact is, getting a whole bunch of Chinese tourists to come in here would definitely be an injection into our economy. No question about it, right? You can mix in all the other stuff that you want, right? But the thing is, for us to push that, it's almost like we can't hear what everybody's screaming in the mainland. And what they're screaming is no to China. You know, they're like, hey, there are adversaries. People are coming over to your islands. You don't have to look further. We like quickies, yes. But you don't have to look much further than Guam because Guam used that as one of their election campaign talking points with regards to the Washington delegate position. And how would you deal with the illegal immigration coming from the CNMI to Guam? And that was there. It's already made it to the mainland. If you've got a congressman from Wisconsin who's talking about us having a problem with Chinese immigration, dude, we're on their radar. All right. And not in a good way. you're not, and you got to remember, our best friends in the mainland are great. They are. They love us. We got family there. We got everything. But the general view of the mainland for the CNMI is, what's that? Yeah. I mean, they don't really know us. Regular folks do not know that we exist, right? They just, Saipan, who is that, Spain? You know, where is that? If they Google Rota, they're going to get Rota Island over there in Spain, the actual Spain, not Saipan spelled wrong. And they don't know about us. And then when they hear about us, this is what they hear. They're hearing about this abuse of immigration from China to the CNMI. And when they dig a little bit deeper, they're going to hear about the IPI fiasco and what it did with the government and everything like that here. Good morning, Lenny. And that's going to be like an ongoing thing for us. So that's not going anywhere. And now when they hear about them going to Guam, where we've got it's our major military outpost out here. And it's not just one, right? You know, you got 3 bases. You got Camp Blas, big Navy, and you've got Anderson Air Force Base. They're like, that's it. It's done. Problem solved. Those guys out there, we're not going to get into the minutia. We're not going to find out about the nuances of helping them economically. It's a threat. It's a threat to our military. We're going to close that border off right now. That's it. So, anyway, despite having breakfast at Tiffany's, Tom Tiffany is not cool with this. He said, and I'm looking at his page right now. And here, let's go to my little screen share thing so you guys can watch it along with me. Now, they cite this as something from the Daily Caller, but it is actually his website based on the info that they put out there. And he's talking about birth tourism in the CNMI. Dude, if this guy from Wisconsin is talking about birth tourism in the CNMI, the folks in the mainland are not going to be cool with us doing what we want to do. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You know, that's it. Look, hold on, let's read that. He's referencing the CIA's letter from John Ratcliffe that said that Communist China's greater national security threat to the U.S. than any other nation. He said, in short, nationals of the People's Republic of China should be required to meet the same standard to visit the CNMI that they must visit to meet everyone else. Uh-oh, we got a call. Hold on, let's see who we... Oh, Havdade Zantiro, thanks for calling the show.
Hey, good morning, Brad.
Piling.
Good morning, Marianas. Yeah, this is Piling.
Hey, great to hear from you. How are you, my friend?
Hey. Fine. Doing fine. Just to get back to, sorry, I know you're talking on another subject right now, and sorry to interfere, but going back to the payments of the Commonwealth Casino Commission.
Yes.
You know, before I say anything or anyone will say anything about it, maybe we should you should try and call the governor himself, Senator Jude Schneider, and explain why. They should explain why the Commonwealth Casino Commissioners should get paid. No, they should explain, because everybody there in the cinema knows there's no casino, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no casino. And why do they have to get paid? But the only people that can tell us why those people should get paid is the governor himself and Senator Jude Schneider. And whoever is supporting that they should get paid. But you know, there's no casino there. Everybody there knows. All of us, even our own people in the United States of America, they know that the casino is not alive there. It's not contributing to anything. The casino is still owing our Sinamay government. They haven't been paying our Sinamay government on their part. So the two best person that should explain why should the Commonwealth Casino Commissioners get paid are the very government that is sitting down representing us.
Mm-hmm.
There are other things that are very important that needs the attention of money. You know, like the Bantalam area, where our people go and enjoy their weekend. They should try and spend money to put water there and fix the restroom and all of that. There's so many things. Help RB come up too. Mayor RB come up too with the quarry. Oh, help the medical referral. Promote education, the scholarship. There's plenty more important things. But the only people that can come out and explain to the entire Sinamay people is the governor himself and Senator Judith Schneider. Why they should sign it into law? Mm-hmm. First and final reading. They should come out. They should come out, and they should not sit on the behind the door and not come out and explain. You know, when a session come and the public comment is to be allowed for the people to speak, they limit their time to speak, their mind. The people cannot speak. The people cannot say anything. It's always our government has the superpower. That's why That's why when we're getting lost, plenty problems. Even with it's a good thing that America is recognizing the problem with the illegal aliens there on the island. Oh, since everything illegal taxi. Why are those Chinese driving around doing a taxi business? Why? Oh, there's plenty of things, but the only people that can explain all of that is our very own government. That's all. That's all I want to share. Because there's plenty comments I'm reading about that issue, that topic, the Commonwealth Casino Commission.
Mm-hmm.
But we all know there's no casino. That IPI casino has plenty problems. Created, it damaged the name of Saipan with all the criminality that they have done, from human trafficking, from making people work without getting paid. All of that, there's so many things. That's why that casino went to court. You can even try and invite federal judge to Manglonia, Ramona Manglonia. She will explain. There's top officials there can explain what's going on, and the people deserve to know why. Is it important to put in the budget to pay a Commonwealth Casino Commission where there is no casino? That's all that. I love you, Marianas. Have a beautiful day.
Hey, Peeling, we love you too. Thanks so much for calling. You know, and there's other people weighing in on that too. I mean, like Lenny says, he's like, yeah, I agree with that. Why pay the commissioners? They didn't even do, he said they didn't even do shit. He said CNMI will never improve with these kinds of legislators. So sad. And I get it. I'm with you. Just like he said, yeah, think about that. They're getting back pay. And remember when IPI was building that casino, and they had those folks who got busted for tourists who were working. There's folks who came in who were working who weren't even supposed to be working here, right? They came in as tourists. And did they get fined? Did they get sanctioned? Maybe. No, they did nothing. That whole casino commission, not the employees or their direct, I'm talking about the commissioners, didn't do jack about it. All they did was, oh, yes, your excellency. Yes, your highness. I mean, that's what it was. If you can't paint it any other way than they were just polishing the boots. They were polishing imperial boots is what they were doing over there with IPI. The casino commissioners, I think, did more of an injustice to the CNMI because they're from here. They should have been working in our best interest, and I don't think they were. They're going to tell you, because they have, that what a great job they did. But I completely disagree. I disagree. I think they sat on their hands. They used excuses. And what would have been the most vital industry for us, a source of income for the CNMI. The whole reason why we had the casino in the first place, not because some people decided it would be fun. No, they did that to try to solve the problem that was happening with the retirement fund turned settlement fund, because we did not have enough money or a plan to be able to pay for the retirement of thousands and thousands of CNMI employees. We did it, and that basically saved it, and we mishandled it. We fumbled it, and then their lack of action let it get even worse. Hey, that happens. And it's unfortunately, part of how we do things out here. And it's not everything. It's not in every facet of every industry or everything. But the ones who are successful don't do that. The ones who really want to move forward. But again, it's people from here. And that's the problem. They should absolutely, it says, sorry, Patrick Starr over here. But they took budget away from PSS to put towards something else. Yeah, Patrick Starr. So, Luisa, that was about the budget part where you see where they took that money, right? So they reallocated, and I'm gonna have to pull that stuff up again. But where we showed yesterday. Do I have it handy? I have it. I just don't know if I have it really easy to show you where it is. The budget. Yeah, you see the line items. They took like $650,000 away from NMC for sure. And then the thing is that if they got this extra $22 million or so that they were going to reallocate to all these other things, including paying for the retirement and alleviating or continuing or getting rid of the austerity measures that they had in place. 25% of that should have gone to PSS, and it didn't. Because that's how it's supposed to work. And there's this big uncomfortable conversation piece with folks at PSS because they don't want to really push the government. That's it. They don't push it. But like that 25%, according to that, it was a House bill, it came in local law like 18-12, that says, hey, 25% of the CNMI budget's got to go to PSS. Right? That's it. And none of it went to PSS out of this. Like, they didn't get the 25% of $22 million. Right? Didn't happen. So it went to all these other places to help the retirement, which is great. But going to do the back pay. So here's what they did. They not only did that for the back pay, but then they put another. So the $650,000 they took away from NMC, they gave $250,000 to the commissioners, and then they for back pay. And something that they never should have been paid out of the regular CNMI general fund anyway. And then they put the other $400,000 they put to the legislature by increasing their budget from $100,000 for each house to $200,000 to each house. So that means each one of the legislators and senators now gets a bump in their allocation, in their funds. Yeah, so that's why it's an easy win for them to do it, and that's probably why they did that. And that kind of sucks, especially because we've got somebody who's trying to buy IPI, and granted, it's not going to be anywhere near the amount of money they owe their creditors, But if the CNMI can get their piece first of that $10 million proposed purchase for IPI, that $250,000 would be taken care of right away. Actually, the money that they owe for the casino commission is somewhere like around $3 million. I think it's 3.1, and that was at the last tally. So, not to mention what they owed the rest of the CNMI. But they could have taken that money out of there, right? And it's just not fair that the people of the CNMI should have to pay for the lack of action on behalf of the casino commissioners. They're nice guys, but they're enablers. They enabled the IPI to get away with it for as long as they did. A real casino commission would have put the hammer down on those guys. It says CCC commissioners are appointed by the governor and are government employees requiring compensation for their roles. I get you with that. I understand that. But the way the casino commission is set up, the pay that they receive is not supposed to come from the CNMI. It's supposed to come from the money that comes in from the fees collected from the casino. Their inability to manage the whole casino crisis, and it's a crisis, is they're failing. They're not just regular CNMI government employees. They held meetings and they continued operations when they weren't doing anything. That's the problem. It says even if you're a terrible employer, your employer is still obligated to pay you. Yes, but they were the employers. So that's the thing. They weren't just doing their job. They weren't doing their job. That's the problem. They were, the only way the money comes in for the casino commissioners to get paid and to pay their employees is coming in from the casino. If they would have put the hammer down on IPI early, that never would have happened. They never would have found themselves in this situation. They should all be dismissed, all of them, for cause, for not doing their job properly. They let the only casino license happen, and they still have it, by the way. They let the only casino that had the sole casino license operate and not get fined and not lose its license throughout all that time, even though they broke promise after promise, agreement after agreement. And they just listened to them and said, well, okay. No, they did not hold them accountable. They were too weak when they should have had a strong hand in how that went. If they really, really, really cared about the CNMI, at least this CNMI's industry. I'm not questioning whether or not they care about the Commonwealth. Come on. But if they cared about this industry and the how it could really help and benefit the CNMI, they would have done that. What they ended up doing is getting a lot of advice from a lot of people who brought the casino in here, and they said, we just need this, just help us with this. They just need this, just help them with that. And they did, instead of doing what really should have happened. They should have put the hammer down. They should have lost their license years ago, and that's it. Well, no, it's a process. We got to do it. No, even before they got to that, they're like, well, can we extend this? Can we just remove this? And then their colleagues, I guess, in arms when it comes to the to supporting the casino, who were in the legislature, just rubber stamped everything. And it came from somebody else. Objectively, you could see that it was messed up. I dissolved the casino commission is right. We should get rid of it. But we need to have the laws in place to make sure that this kind of stuff doesn't happen again. Because it was an absolute soup sandwich, from the jump. Yeah, I mean, that's the part that gets people upset. And you're right. I agree that people who are working deserve to get paid. And if you are a CNMI government employee, you should get paid. But the whole funding mechanism for getting paid is through that. And that's really how you could tell that they're effective doing their jobs, right? How are they getting back pay for not doing anything? They got back pay for showing up to have meetings that weren't properly noticed, really. And they were at an office which they weren't paying for. And they were doing it with power that they weren't paying for. And they were just 5 guys who showed up into a room that had lights on it. And that room only had stuff in it because the property owners were kind enough to leave it there, or they were promised that they were going to get paid back too. And it's a room that they only used once a month for their meetings, and then the lights were off and everything was off after that too. And they had all that stuff stored in there, again, because they mismanaged their role as casino commissioners. And that's the part that sucks about this whole thing. Oh, but we did our job. I mean, we showed up and we had the meetings because we were supposed to have the meetings, whether there's funding or not. We are really, we're doing our job. In fact, we're doing it even with this hardship. Bullshit. You were doing it. You weren't doing anything. You were showing up to a meeting and managing something and listening, maybe reading emails. You didn't even have like an official email. You didn't do your website. You didn't do anything because you weren't a real office, because you couldn't even ensure that you had funding. It says they suspended IPI's license, and IPI challenged the ruling the way the CNMI Supreme Court. How can you say that they didn't do anything? Because even before that, they didn't do anything. Like changing all of the things that allowed IPI to slip further and further down that slope. I mean, that's it. That first of all, like that whole initial thing of that 7.2 billion thing was like a fantasy. Even the 2.2 billion was a fantasy, right? All that. But the whole thing is that IPI just didn't have the money that they said they had. That's it. And we let that go. And then, so it started off on the wrong foot with the CNMI. And then after that, we just enabled it with every little step along the way. Sure, we'll let you have less rooms. Sure, you won't have to actually build a new property. You can use the one that's existing over there in Marpy. How we allowed that place to open before it was finished is ridiculous. It was an active... Yeah, exactly, 2023. That for 2023 till now for most of them. And what was going on in 2023? I'm telling you, I was there. I went to see one of those ridiculous meetings of a few guys in a room giving a presentation to nobody that just happened to have an assistant attorney general in the room as their legal counsel. It was a joke. It was a joke. And you know why it was like that? Because they couldn't do anything. They didn't have a printer. They didn't have money for ink. They didn't have money for power. They didn't have anything. They mismanaged it, guys. They mismanaged it. That's not, in that role as a casino commissioner and seeing how that worked, they could have suspended the license way sooner. That's the problem. They were apologists for the casino. They were the architects of their own demise. So I don't think they should. I don't think that they did their job right. You know, that's it. And that wasn't even going to be the main thing that we were going to talk about today. Peeling, this is your fault. I was geared up to talk about the representative from Wisconsin, and then show you guys our representative's video about it this morning. But that's it. So that's where I'm fired up. No, hey, don't put words into my mouth. It says you're saying the government employees shouldn't be paid because there's no work. No. They failed the organization. They were in charge of running that organization. They should have been dismissed for allowing it to go that way. What kind of government organization, all right? Think about it in terms of this. All the employees were paid. They're the commissioners, right? All the employees were dismissed. They weren't even overseeing like employees. So check this out. They allowed their organization to completely fail, to completely crumble because of their lack of actual stuff. Exactly. Great question. They should have been. But I'm guessing there's, I don't know, some kind of mechanism for that. They should have disbanded the Casino Commission. The only problem is then you don't have somebody that can finish the actual job, but they should have been replaced for cause. And because their lack of effect, hey, and you don't have to agree with it. You don't have to agree with me, I should say. And by the way, Pilling's not on the phone anymore. I could take that off. Sorry. This all stemmed from Pilling's phone call. And that's why it's there. That's why we got into it. So I mean, that's it. Like, literally, their own source of funding is the livelihood of the casino. And their job is to ensure that we have an environment to make that thrive. And then when you find out you're dealing with bad actors and then you enable them, then they are ending up like taking advantage of folks here in the CNMI. They took advantage of the government. They took advantage of the people's goodwill, and they kind of ran away with it. You know, I mean, from the labor abuses to, like, again, look at that place. How could they possibly allow a place like that to open with the shell of it not even be constructed? You know, like, it's like it was still an active construction site. Yeah, come on in and gamble. And I liked it. I mean, I liked it. I was there. But come on, man, that's clown shoes. You think that would go anywhere else in the real world, in the first world? You think that would happen in Vegas? No. They wouldn't even let you do that in Atlantic City. We could just admit that we failed, and that's it. But again, if they could not run their operations back then when they weren't getting paid, why did they allow it to go for so long? Why weren't they getting support early? It's not the administration. Because everyone on the island was getting paid, that's why nothing was done. Yeah, that's it. That's where they took advantage. I agree with that. And by the way, in case you guys are wondering where all those comments are coming from, I'm talking to over there on the YouTube channel side. But so you can see it yourself. But I mean, like, that is the heavy on this one. That's the heavy on this one. Now, I'm not saying, like, the employees who worked for the Casino Commission just did their job. And then they got let go because there was no money for them. So at that point, it becomes a charity. You know, it becomes a charity. They weren't doing anything. And they should have reached out to the Attorney General's office and say, hey, what are we supposed to do? What's our obligation to the Commonwealth? We have no money coming in. Also, I think it was irresponsible for them to keep their office open, the actual office that, and promise an agency that they're going to, or promise that company that they're going to get paid one day when it all gets better. That seems irresponsible to me. Not just irresponsible, it seems wrong. Like you can't, how can you enter into a multi-year continuous contract with somebody like that under those kind of terms? Yeah, you know, and so that's the thing, Keith. That's what I was going to show. Like, I have it all queued up right here. Like, that's where I was getting at today because we were leading into it. So let's do that. I want to switch gears to that because I think that's a bigger deal. We have, we were talking about, so we are switching gears. We're taking a quick pause on this thing because that wasn't where I want to go today anyway. That wasn't it. But I mean, it's still an issue that I'm not in love with. But I want to talk about the Chinese visa waiver program because that's the bigger deal. And that, just a real quick recap. They've been talking about this for a long time. Just the fact that some guy in Wisconsin knows about us and our situation. And we thought that we had a chance at going for the Annex 6 and everything like that. The fact is that they've known about this for a while. They've been talking about this for a while. The folks in Guam have been talking about this, and now the folks in the mainland are talking about this. So we are absolutely fooling ourselves if we think that we're going to end up getting this Annex 6 stuff taken care of, right? It's just crazy, right? So anyway, we are going through and talking about this letter here from, from Tom Tiffany's office. And he talked about, hey, he's pointing out, like, again, this big part right here. He's like, he pointed to John Ratcliffe's statements for 2020 in which he called Communist China the greater national security threat to the U.S. than any other nation. If he's saying that stuff in 2025 now, or citing that, he's like, this is not a good idea. He's like, in short, nationals of the PRC should be required to meet the same standards to visit the CNMI that they would meet to visit any other part of the United States. Well, I'll tell you, if we're on that radar, we're on that radar. Anyway, so you thought, he said, what's happening in the Northern Marianas is particularly vexing because it's not well known and abused widely. Probably both. He also said that CNMI is not the only place Chinese citizens are targeting for maternity tourism. Look, so this is a big deal that they know this. And so that's why I want to get to our representative statement. So let's do that. This is the video that showed that we were going to get to earlier. Check this out.
I'm walking to the store, and I thought that we use this time to multitask and have a conversation about the recent letter that was issued to the Department of Homeland Security by Representative Tiffany from Wisconsin, calling for the elimination of the China visa waiver program. Been getting a lot of requests for comments from the press, and a lot of the signers out there are reaching out too and saying, hey, what's going on with this? So if you follow me on social media, you will have seen that I recently met with Representative Tiffany to have a conversation about, his statements about the issue of birth tourism in the CNMI. And if you follow Representative Tiffany's logic, right, this carved out rule that allows for the China visa waiver program for the CNMI is directly allowing for birth tourism to happen in the CNMI. So let's just get some things. Let's get one thing on record, right? Birth tourism is a problem, not just in the CNMI. It's a problem across America, right? But the reason why that certain people are making an issue, certain people like Representative Tiffany are making an issue about it, is because of the fact that the CNMI has these carve-out exemption with regards to that particular market, okay? So, as you have been all hearing me state, one-size-fits-all policies that may work for places like Wisconsin, like a uniform immigration policy, doesn't necessarily work for places like the CNMI, right?
It's a little windy.
We've also been tracking to what the conversations that are being had here in Washington with regards to federal programs and policies. They're basically saying, hey, we want to be able to let the states determine, right, how some of these policies work for them so that they can be in a situation where their economies could thrive, right? Hence the call for the elimination of certain bureaucracies and certain programs that hinder America's ability to grow economically, and for some of these states basically to be able to support their economies. This China visa waiver program is exactly that. It's a carved out exemption. It's a tool that has been given to us by the federal government because it recognizes that tourism is our primary industry, right? And as a small jurisdiction, given our remote geography, we're just not competitive with other markets, right? And so for me, right, if you call to eliminate a carve-out exemption that allows the Commonwealth to be economically self-sustainable and for its only industry to be able to thrive, you're basically calling for a one-size-fits-all policy that may work for Wisconsin, but doesn't work for places like the CNMI. I get the logic, and I understand where Representative Tiffany is coming from. The problem is that, you know, when we have these conversations, we need to have this conversation in the context of what is happening on the ground with regards to the CNMI's economy and the CNMI's ability to be economically self-sustainable. And the fact is, as we all know, some of these federal policies just don't work in the CNMI because the conditions are just different in the CNMI because of our geography, right? And the fact that we don't have, for example, another industry like ag, as Representative Tiffany does in his state, to be able to generate revenue to support government operations. And if we were to get online and to be a part of this conversation to make these policies uniform across the United States and the territories, what is the alternative viable solution then for the CNMI's economy, right? How will the CNMI be able to support the basic functions of government programs and services? So we had a recent report that recently came out, you know, showing that we are really just completely federally, you know, reliant on federal dollars to support a lot of these programs that benefit our community. Recently, the Secretary of Finance came out and stated that because of the tourism industry's challenges, it is impacting government revenues, right? At a time when we're seeing business closures, the Hyatt pulling out. Recently, duty-free, a few days ago, duty-free just called and said that they were giving notice that they were officially winding down and closing up shop. So what does that all mean for the CNMI? And what does that mean basically amidst these larger conversations that we need to have with the federal government with regards to, you know, how we can be economically self-sustainable. So I think the manner in which we should be having these conversations is not focused on what the problem is. Yes, I get it. Birth tourism is a problem, right? But birth tourism issues are symptomatic of the underlying issue, and the underlying issue is that the CNMI is very different than any other jurisdictions out here in America. we need carve-out policies that reflect the economic conditions on the ground. And we all know, as a matter of fact, that the CNMI is economically most viable when we have the tourism industry plus something else. And one of the things that I've been focused on as your delegate is having these conversations that are focused on solutions, getting people to understand the unique challenges that we face out here as a community, right? And it becomes a challenge when the only thing that people here on the ground are hearing is about corruption, about misspending of federal dollars. So let me ask you this, right? Do you think that the federal government is going to give us more federal money when for the last 2 years all we've been talking about is how we've misspent the money? And we come to the table but offer no plans as to how we are going to actually make good use of those federal funds to put us in a situation where we are economically viable so that we don't continuously come back and ask for more federal funds. That's just the reality of the situation. And what I've been focused on as your delegate is having those conversations. And I will continue to have those conversations, and I will continue to advocate for these policies that grow and revitalize our tourism industry. So with that being said, I want to thank Representative Tiffany for creating this opportunity to have a conversation about some of the things that are happening here on the ground and the need for we as a Commonwealth to actually have a plan. Because guys, coming to Washington, D.C. and asking for more federal money is not a solution, okay? It's not. And so with that being said, I want to say I love you, CNMI. The IGIA is happening this week. As a matter of fact, Wednesday, the governor and his team will be here to present to our federal partners, and that will be the message that I will be bringing to the table. I love you. Have a great week, and I will keep you posted. Bye.
See, I love that. I love getting that direct message from our delegate in DC. Isn't that? I mean, that is great stuff. It is great stuff. And I think one part's a little bit mixed, saying, hey, all we've been talking about for the last 2 years is how we misspent these funds. I'm like, yeah, but how about the actual misspending of the funds? Actually, more than anything, I think the other side of that. Sure, is it good marketing for us? It depends on how you look at it. If you say that it's bad that we've been talking about how these funds were misspent, yeah, it doesn't look good, right? But is it worse to not say anything about it? To say that we'd be on the same thing? Man, now, I think it at least shows, yeah, we misspent some of those funds, a lot of it, and now we're going to try to fix it. I don't know. It just depends on where our credibility is. I don't know I can't imagine it's super high. Not if some guy from Wisconsin is tackling this for us, I don't know. Louisa says, man, if Kimberly's out of breath, it's cold out there. Yeah, no kidding. And I was looking at the background too, just to kind of see where she was at. Ooh, look at that. Wait. Let's go to this little screen grab real quick. And let's zoom in on this. Ready? Hold on. I want to, let's look at that creeper. Hold on. I'm going to zoom in on him. Here we go. Look at that creeper over there over her shoulder. Who is that guy? Dun, dun, dun. Who's creeping on our congresswoman? I'm sure she's fine. Don't worry. She's pretty badass. I think she can handle it. Anyway, Guys, all right, we're going to take a real quick break, and we'll come back, and we're going to take more of your questions and calls. And you know what we could really use? We could use some jokes. If you've got some, send them our way for sure. Remember, you'll be able to call us. Call us after the phone or after the commercials open. If you don't know our phone number is 789-2323, 789-2323. Hey, there's a lot of great things happening here in the CNMI too, and you could be a part of it while you're watching the program here and have some fun. By the way, we had a great giveaway yesterday. We'll do it again today. Tell me in the comments who wants some beer from Last Shot Bar. You're going to get some free ones coming up. Paradise Dental's giving you the gas. Well, not that kind of gas. You already know that Paradise Dental has the most affordable coverage in the entire Marianas, and now we've got something special just for new customers. And now for a limited time, Paradise Dental is offering free gas vouchers for new signups for their coverage plan. If you sign up for a singles plan, you'll get a $10 gas voucher. If you sign up for a couples plan, that's a $15 gas voucher. And if you sign up for the whole family plan, that's a $20 gas voucher right after your first visit. So hurry down to Paradise Dental and sign up for the CNMI's most affordable dental coverage today. These gas vouchers are limited, and with smiles like these, you know they're gonna go fast.
Hey, I'm Coach Derek Cutting, the owner and founder of Laddie Built Fitness. So no matter who you talk to here at Laddie Built, everyone feels that they are part of a family, part of a group of like-minded people. No one feels judged. No one feels like they're being teased or picked on or looked down upon because maybe they don't know what they're doing. They could be brand new and have no idea what they're doing. They might be overweight or really skinny and feel very self-conscious about themselves. But at Laddie Built, nobody judges here. And if you ask anybody here that might be in better shape than you or even not, but has experience in the gym, they will gladly help you through a workout and teach you a few techniques that can help you. So Laddie Built organically from day one, since the boot camp era, has organically grown this fostered environment of community and being a safe place, but a strong work ethic community of people that want to get work done. All I can say is that I put my heart and soul into it from day one. I treated everyone like that at the boot camp from the very, very beginnings, and everyone at the same time would treat each other like that from the boot camp era as well. And as we grew, as we got into a brick and mortar facility, we got bigger and bigger. I feel like people definitely just take this place as a home, as like their brother and sisters are working out next to them, not their enemy or not their competitor, you know? So organically, it's just the vibe here is different. Everyone feels very, very comfortable, and I love the fact that it happened like that.
All right, welcome back, CNMI. It is a beautiful day, 8:16 a.m. here. It's 75 degrees. It's not much warmer outside, and that's the kind of day you like. The only thing is that humidity is really high. It's 96% humidity. Usually that burns off later in the day, but at Saipan International Airport, those readings telling us that the humidity, it's still out there. Your fa-fa might not be dripping, but it is still cool out there, so at least they kind of balance each other out. Possible that we're going to have some isolated showers today, but other than that, it's going to be mostly sunny skies. The high near 85, a very light wind, getting more and more calm as the day progresses. Tonight, though, the chance of rain is going to go up quite a bit. And then tomorrow, we're looking at a windier day for sure with a high near 84, but mostly sunny. So that's what our weather is looking like today, and not too bad. It could be a lot worse. I'll take it. 75 degrees, it's almost like Hawaii outside. I mean, that's kind of the feel that we're getting out of that for sure. So anyway, We blew through your 8 o'clock update from the AP headline news, so we're going to get that for you, and then we're going to drift off to a little place called Today in History. But here is your latest update from the Associated Press. We do this every day, multiple times a day, top of the hour, and right now it is a little bit past the top of the hour, but I think you guys will let us go on that. Anyway, here we go. AP headline news.
A Delta Airlines plane has flipped upon arrival at Toronto's Pearson Airport, injuring at least 8 people. The airport confirms on X that the incident involved a Delta flight from Minneapolis. All passengers and crews have been accounted for. Paramedics say 1 passenger is critically injured. 7 others were also hurt. Protesters against President Trump and his policies have been braving frigid temperatures today. Nearly 1,000 people marched in the snow from the State House in Boston to City Hall. Emily Manning was among the demonstrators, saying she felt it was important to be out on President's Day.
American values are not the values of the plutocracy or the limited few rich people. American values are about what we are as a country all together. It's about inclusion. It's about working together. It's about checks and balances. And all of that, I'm afraid, of being eroded with the current administration.
Some of the Boston protesters are dressed in Revolutionary War-style clothing from the 1700s. Harsh cold is hitting the nation's midsection as a polar vortex grips the Rockies and northern plains. This comes on the heels of weekend storms that pummeled the eastern U.S. with floods, killing at least 13 people. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says there's a big storm coming into his state.
It will bring a lot of heavy rain to East Texas and especially Southeast Texas, where we are monitoring for potential flooding situations in those areas. And then is going to come what will likely be the coldest weather event of the year. And actually in some places in the state of Texas, it may be the coldest event ever marked in history in the state of Texas.
The National Weather Service is warning of life-threatening cold. This is AP News. AP correspondent Lawrence Brooks has the latest on Pope Francis.
The Vatican says Pope Francis will require further hospitalization after his respiratory tract infection presented a complex clinical picture. This will raise concerns about the 88-year-old's increasingly frail health. The Pope was admitted to hospital in Rome after a week-long bout of bronchitis worsened. A Vatican spokesman has said the results of tests conducted in recent days has indicated that the Pope is suffering from a polymicrobial respiratory tract infection, which has required changes in his drug therapy. Scientists say these are caused by a mix of viruses, bacteria, fungi and parasites. No time frame has been given for his hospitalization, but the Vatican has said the complexity of his symptoms will require an appropriate hospital stay. I'm Lawrence Brooks.
I'm Mike Hempen, AP News.
All right, that's a little heavy, but man, listening to that news, they talked about that plane that flipped over, that Delta Airlines flight over in Toronto, and so I went looking for that. Well, I just think I overcorrected on that exposure there. But either way, want to go and show you guys this a little bit because that is just wild. This is a plane that came in from Minneapolis and it rolled. And when you see where it is, it just makes you wonder, like, how the heck something like that can happen. So we're going to get that to you right now so you can see exactly what they were talking about on here. So here we go. One second. Let me press play on it. This is it. And you can see it. That's in Toronto. That's a Delta Airlines flight that's upside down. I don't have the other details about it, but that is it. You can see that it doesn't look too good. All those little black marks in the back of the plane. Don't know if there was a big fire, but the fire, you can see they coated that plane in foam. You can clearly see in the left side, that's the cockpit that's upside down. And then, it's got those twin engines in the back. Not sure what caused it yet. But again, that's in, this is footage from the Associated Press that they got off of CTV, Canadian television. And not sure, again, what led to that. But look at all the snow that's out there. I mean, you almost imagine that might have had something to do with it. But hey, there's a whole heck of a lot of stuff that's going on with these planes lately, isn't it? I mean, it seems like it's happening all the time. I still have no fear about getting on a plane or anything like that, but like, what in the heck is going on with it, with all these plane incidents? It's crazy. So reading the report right here, it says a badly injured child is among 8 people who were hurt. If all that happened was 8 people were hurt, that's amazing. And thank God. It says a badly injured child is among 8 people who were hurt Monday when Delta Airlines plane flipped upon arrival at Toronto's Pearson Airport. The airport confirmed that the incident occurred with the Delta flight from Minneapolis. Now, all 80 passengers and crew were accounted for. 3 of the 8 people are hurt, who are hurt are critically injured, paramedics said. Delta said in the statement that happened at 3:30 in the afternoon, so that would have been 5:30 this morning here in Chamorro Standard Time. It says video from the scene shows that the Mitsubishi CRJ 900LR upside down on the snowy tarmac as emergency workers hose it down. The plane is somewhat obscured from the snow from a winter storm that hit Toronto over the weekend. It says Orange Air Ambulance. Is that what it's called? ORNGE. It's Orange Air Ambulance said that it was transporting 1 pediatric patient to Toronto's Sick Kids Hospital and 2 adults with critical injuries to other hospitals. Emergency teams are responding, and all passengers and crew are accounted for. It's early to say what caused the plane to flip, but weather may have played a factor. According to Meteorological Services of Canada, the airport was experiencing blowing snow and winds of 32 miles per hour, gusting to 40, and the temperature was about negative. Well, actually, it was about 16.5 degrees Fahrenheit, a negative 8.6 Celsius. Not the kind you drink. U.S. FAA said in a statement that the folks in Canada are going to head up the investigation and provide any updates. NTSB also said that it's leading a team of U.S. investigators to assist the Canadian investigation. It is at least the 4th major aviation mishap in North America in the past month. They talked about the plane that hit the helicopter in Washington, D.C. They talked about that medical transportation plane that crashed in Philly at the end of last month. And they talked about the other one that crashed in Alaska. And, at least nobody was killed in this one. And people were, 8 of them were injured, 3 of them critically. And, geez, like, what is going on with our airfare, our aircraft? We're here worried about airfare. That's where that one came from. And like these crazy things happening all over the world right now. With at least that's in North America, I should say. So it's a tough one to process as we see all this stuff happen. And it's not just like one airline, and it's not just one aircraft manufacturer. It's kind of all over the place. And we'll find out what happened on this one. But if it's blowing wind and you've got like 40-mile-an-hour gusts and that kind of weather, you'd figure that it would have to have something to do with it, or that it's got to be able to play a factor in it somehow. So, all right. Well, let's do this. I want to get you guys, because we didn't do it yesterday, the latest. We give you the latest from the Associated Press, but this is Today in History.
February 18th, 1885. Mark Twain's The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, one of the great American novels, is first published in the United States. 1861, months before the Civil War breaks out, Jefferson Davis is sworn in as President of the newly formed Confederate States of America. 1970, 5 of the Chicago 7 defendants are found guilty of conspiring to incite riots at the 1968 Democratic National Convention. The convictions are later overturned. 2001, veteran FBI agent Robert Hansen is arrested, accused of spying for Moscow for years. At first, Hansen pleads innocent, but then changes his plea to guilty, and he's sentenced to life in prison. Also that same year,
we've lost Dale Earnhardt.
In Florida, auto racing star Dale Earnhardt Sr. dies from injuries received in a crash at the Daytona 500. He was 49. And in 1954,
You know, I work on my hair a long time, and you hit it. He hits my hair.
actor John Travolta, whose movie roles include Saturday Night Fever, Grease, and Pulp Fiction, is born in Englewood, New Jersey. Today in history, February 18th. John Belmont, The Associated Press.
All right, well, there you go. So that's something that we bring to you. Get back here. That's something we bring to you every day. The Today in History, what do they say? Those who ignore history are doomed to repeat it. Well, that's it. Anyway, we do that all the time, and that's a regular feature of the program, and happy to bring that to you today. All right, well, we've got a few more things that we want to get to today. We just found out this morning that one of the meetings that we were excited about going to today got pushed till next week. And it's about a feasibility study for getting a ferry service out here in the CNMI. How about that? Is that cool or what? I think it's outstanding. Looking forward to it. I got a comment said, Elon satellites messing with air traffic control signals. Yeah, that's it. Where are they? They're way up there. Okay. All right. No, don't get crazy on that. That's funny. It was not the best one I've told, but that's still okay. Anyway, let me roll into this. I'm going to check out a couple of these things. Man, let's say Mariano. I was sad to hear about your brother's passing, my friend. I imagine you're probably not on here with us today, but if you guys don't know, one of our regular contributors to the program from the Office of Planning and Development, Mariano Iglesias, lost his brother, and we prayed for you, we prayed for your brother, we prayed for your family, and as you go through this time, I know we get a lot of folks who are passing from watching the show, and we get to know some of you guys a little bit more than others, but Mariano, just know that we're here thinking about you, and that's just our little thing that we could do is posting up the funeral announcement, the death announcement, and we're thinking about you, buddy. We wish we could be there for you. And we can, we'll be there, but I'm really sad to hear about your brother's passing. That guy looked healthy. Guy looked fit. See all those photos and all that stuff. Stuff can sneak up on you. I have no idea what happened. I just know that thankfully we were able to get that announcement, and we were able to put it out. Kind of a segue, not a segue, but on that related note, if you or your family or your friends experience some sort of loss in your family, and you've got an announcement that you want to put out and get the word out to everything, give it to us. We will post it. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to buy an ad or any of that stuff. You give it, just provide us with it, and we'll put that out there for you. Happy to do it. I know we get a lot of people are watching about that, and we'll do that. So, yeah, it's too bad. Yeah, thanks for sending that to me too, by the way. All right. Ann says, Brad, can you call HPO? Ask if we can decorate the ancestral burial site over there, IPI. By the way, Keith, are you still there? I know Keith was watching, and he posted something yesterday about like a design for that area. And I don't know if that's the same one that Leanna Hofschneider was posting before. Unless is that a different design? They were looking for something that was a little bit more fitting for the internment of the remains of that were found at the IPI site. And because it was not a very fancy, it's a slab of concrete with a little inscription on it, and so I thought that they could do a little bit better with it too. But I'm just curious, what more could they do? And I don't know, I don't know, maybe there becomes one fancier site, unless they're just trying to keep them in that same spot. Because they had to, if you go over to the courthouse, you'll see something there also out front. It's something that if you go to the courthouse to pay for anything or you name it, there's like a small laddie stone there and everything. And then there's one of those little historical boxes there that says, hey, this was a site of a village, and we've reinterred all the remains and all that other stuff. But I have no idea how they do them. I can't imagine that the remains are less disturbed than when they found them. Remember when we heard about the construction of the site where they had folks putting in the boxes and everything, and all that? They said, the remains are in boxes and in storage, and they've been there for years and everything. I wonder what that really is, how they really did that, and how they re-interned them and everything. I'd love to hear more about it. And is there more of an importance placed on putting them in the same spot, in the same location? Not the exact same spot, right? Because they're doing the construction and all that. But is it more important for them to be nearby? Or would it be more fitting to make like a nicer site that, like, specifically for the interments of like the remains that are found during all these construction projects and all that? Is it more important to keep them in that same area, or to put them in a nicer area that's more of a celebration of the culture and the history, like similar to that image that Keith posted the other day? I don't know. That's a topic for discussion, for sure. I don't know. So check in your comments. Says Brad, yesterday you were talking about the NBA director and support. Can you please explain your confidence in her increasing tourist arrivals? I don't know that I know that she's going to be able to do it. I'm excited for her to do it based on her familiarity with the tourism markets, for sure. She's been at, here, let's pull up her info again. 1 second. This is what we did yesterday. Okay. So we're talking about Jamaica Tyrone, who is recently named to be Chris Concepcion's replacement as the managing director of MVA. So we're talking about somebody who's been the assistant general manager for DFS, someone who's been with DFS for over 15 years, but the assistant general manager for operations since the summer of 22. She's also been a operations support manager, but she's had a long history of working her way up the chain from DFS. So you're working specifically with tourists. So you learn a lot about the organization when you've been there for 15 years, but you learn a lot about folks who are your customers, the people are coming in, what do they like, what are they looking for, all that kind of stuff. So she's got, and the longer you go there and the longer that you move your way up the chain, the closer you are to some of those other conversations. Now, is that the kind of stuff that she got when she first started there as like a product sales manager? Maybe not. But she definitely learned about her customers and how to sell to them and what they're looking for. And that's definitely evolved over the last 15 years. So somebody who's been involved closely with that kind of an operation, I think definitely knows a thing or two about it. I mean, and it's not just that. They're talking about stuff at the airport. You're dealing with all that. And maybe it'll be great to hear from her too. And we did get her statement, but maybe have her on there a little bit. But I know she's got to get her feet wet. She's got to get to learn the MBA operation as well, get to know the staff and who does what and what role. I bet she's got some familiarity with those folks as well, wherever they're at. Because you just live here long enough, you get to know everybody. And you're working in a business like that, that's so tourism-based, you're part of MVA, you're going to those meetings and all that stuff. So now she just has a different viewpoint of it as someone who's going to be in charge of running an operation, which is what you do as the managing director, and setting up some plans. Now, really, again, MVA has a board, and so you want to you have to carry out the wishes of the board when you're the managing director, right? I mean, you're essentially like the CEO of the tourism, but you have a board you have to answer to. And so if they're not happy with you, they don't have to keep you, right? So that's going to be she's going to follow a lot of that direction. I think it would be interesting is the kind of pushback that you give to the board members, right? Because you got folks who, again, you got so many businesses saying here, you got to fight for China tourism and all this other stuff. So there's nothing saying that we can't have folks coming in from China now, but we aren't really marketing toward them. We don't have any funding going there as far as like our tourism bureau. There's no MBA China right now that's telling people to come on out. China, we're not putting any money into it. So is there going to be some pushback on that? And even if you do go and set up like an MBA China, like you would, ideally, you're not going to be hiring a bunch of people from here who do it. You're doing it for people who are already in that market, who are already well connected. So you're not starting from scratch. And if you're doing that, there's got to be some interest in it. And who's got interest in it? Well, I mean, come on, look at all the folks who are on the ground right now. They just don't want to do it all on their own. And I'll tell you what, I understand why there's such a heavy China focus, because we got a heavy lobby pushing for Chinese tourism here. And why? Because look, Tan Holdings, they totally modeled, they rebranded Crown Plaza from Fiesta, which was not even a real like international brand, to Crown Plaza, right? Thinking that we were going to be able to get all these high spending Chinese tourists and cater to them, like to try to be like what Kensington is for Koreans, only making, they really wanted to bank on having all those Chinese tourists, the high end, spend their money there. So I understand why they don't want to start with just getting more tourists, why it's more about getting more of the high spending tourists. And that's why they keep putting out, you get them in your WhatsApp groups, right? I know you do, if you're connected folks here. You're getting those things that say, hey, China's got like the most spending tourists in the planet, or it's the fastest growth, or it's identified as in the next few years it's going to eclipse this or that. I mean, that's what you end up getting. I understand they're so fully vested in it. That's the only way forward for those properties. Is it the best way forward? Is it the only way forward? I don't know. I don't have that answer. But I don't like that. That seems like we're putting all our eggs in that basket and nobody's doing anything else in the meantime. You know, they're going all in on this. China or bust. Now, it just seems for really smart people, it maybe that's the only way for them to succeed. And I think that's unfortunate. I don't know that it's the best thing for the CNMI. I know it would definitely help if all of a sudden we had all kinds of Chinese tourists coming in here spending a whole bunch of money. That would definitely help. But that would help for how long? I don't know. I think that we need to have more, but we need to have something now because we are definitely losing a lot of stuff. A lot of businesses out here closing, and ones that are important. That was a good joke, by the way. That was good. Yeah, so let's see if we can't cue that up. Hold on. If you guys would just indulge me for a moment. Yeah, so that's a good point. So Ignacio popped in and says, I thought MBA would reach out to other markets. I remember hearing something about possible Australian market. Yes, but you know what? The thing is, if you're Australian, we need to, why would they come here? Right? Why would you come here? It's not saying, that's not to say that we're not interesting enough, but like, what's the draw to come here if you're Australian? It's easier to go to Palau. It's easier to go to Bali, and that's where they end up going. It's easier to go to so many other places than coming here because it's so expensive to come here. So you really need to sell on how awesome we are. The beauty of it, what you can do here. You got to sell the hiking. You got to sell the tours. You got to sell the nightlife. We don't have a nightlife. We did. Once in a while, the stars align and Garapan is banging. But we don't have a nightlife district here necessarily. You know, we used to. It was great. Yeah, we need to like a MAGA for Garapan. What do you make Garapan great again? I don't know. Maybe you got to change it. That one is not on any of the channels. That one's just in WhatsApp. Make Garapan horish again. I love it. By the way, if you guys message me in WhatsApp, that's my signal to say, or that's your signal to say, I really don't want my name attached to it, but you can say it because it's funny. And so I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. I think that's great. But that is hilarious. I'll tell you. So again, be smart about it. Family by day, party by night. That's what would make Saipan cool. Family by day, party by night. And don't worry about getting a little seedy after 10 o'clock. You're not going out walking with your kids, holding hands and eating cotton candy and chasing rainbows at 10 p.m. or later. No. Make it a little spicy in Garapan at night. Nothing wrong with that. Tongue and tongue adventure. But I'll tell you, no kidding, Ann. So Saipan is amazing. There are some really cool hikes that you can make, and we can make some cool trails out here as long as the granolas don't get all crazy about like, oh, that's a mitigation area. We can't do that. The reed warbler needs extra space to make it. Okay, calm down. I'm not talking about doing ATVs down the middle of a protected area, but having like a hiking trail. They're like, oh no, the coconut crab hunters are going to use that so that they can. Okay, calm down. Like, easy. Take a breath. You know, eat some soy and calm down. Okay. Look, some legit hikes that we have here. So like that Stairway to Heaven in Hawaii, which you're not allowed to do anymore, I guess, right? They're taking them down. We make something like that and make it like a regular hike that people do. I don't know where that ideal trail is. I don't know. But we have cool stuff. There's one good trail that's good for biking. It's up north. It's that Bonsai to Cowtown. And that's a really cool area, too. Step on unexploded ordinances. That's true. Hey. That's so funny. Step on UXO. No, but you can. I've done a lot of those things. I've done the hash. I haven't run the hash in a long time, admittedly. But the hash run is awesome. Like, that's how you get those adventure folks out there, right? And you're not just looking for the crazy ones. I mean, have it at different levels. Some that are fun, some that are not off the charts crazy where you can't do it, but like a regular good hikes. I know we have some good hikes here. Some of them are definitely not tourist friendly, and some of them are. Like the idea of going down to Forbidden. Forbidden is a great hike. It is not ADA compliant. Right, and you're not going to be doing that anyway. But I'm like, that's not a place, that's not a hike that some older folks can make, right? You can't just do it. So make some of those that you can. But like, really, it would be cool. Like, one of the reasons why I sometimes am hesitant about doing the Forbidden Island hike is because I know people who had their windows broken and stuff taken out of their cars when they park there. It's one of the reasons I don't like going to Wing Beach, and Wing Beach is a great beach. It's because of that. You got those creepers out there. They'll park their car out on the middle roadside, go through the boonies, go in there, they'll do a little smash and grab. Luckily, DPS does go out there and check stuff out, but they're not out there 24/7. So like, security is part of it. But again, having some of those kind of hikes. Like, I'll tell you what, make it an established trail. There's two. One, the Banadero Trail, the one that connects from Suicide Cliff down to Last Command Post. Have you done that? We should make that a full-on trail and keep it open, right? And have it well marked so people can go up and back, right? So it's easy to find it. You don't just have to know the trail by doing the hash run or something like that. Open up that trail. And that's a really cool, and it's free, right? I mean, it's free to do it. So that would get people out there to do it. And that would be really cool. And it's not dangerous. You got to be smart about it. Like, don't walk off the cliff, okay? Step one. But other than that, it's a nice thing. Then that's just one. The Ladder and Tanky Trail over there by the, there is a trail marker, but it's not maintained anymore. Over there by the radar, the old radar station. That's a really cool hike around there. And we can make some other ones. But then that's just like a day of hiking in the Marianas, you know. And then once that becomes a real like hike, it's gonna like it gets passed out, meaning like people are gonna walk on it all the time, and you're not gonna have to do too much as far as upkeep goes. You know, just gotta once in a while bring your machete to take care of some of the tongue and that's getting a little creepy. But if people end up doing all that stuff, it's real easy. Yeah, no kidding. But it gets easier. And then there's a small business opportunity. You get some food vendors just kind of hanging out there with their little food carts and their little, like the old, what was that place? Cristiano's, right? Now that, I think Tan Holdings bought that thing. But somebody would go there because it's a trailhead, right? You can have that over there at Last Command Post. As long as you got people going up and down that trail, they're going to be thirsty at one point or whatever. What do you call those things you fly off the cliff with? They can fly to Tinian from Mount Tapachow. Oh, are you talking about the hang gliders? Oh my God. I don't know if there's that much altitude. Yeah, no, I mean, I would think it would be really cool to make a hiking trail. This one would be a little bit more of a hike up to Tapachow. Now, you can do it from different places. I mean, like literally, you could start by Marianas Beach Hotel or Resort, and you can walk up Navy Hill, take the Chalangalite out to Tapachow Road, and then walk it all the way up to the top. It's a good walk. I'll jump without a parachute. Okay, there, Pastrana. Was it Travis Pastrana? I can't remember. The guy who actually jumped out of a plane without a parachute. And then somebody clipped onto him, and then they pulled the chute. After he drank a Red Bull. I don't think it's because of the Red Bull. Red Bull did not make that guy cooler. But, so, having more things like that. By the way, that's a long way to go from your initial question. It says DPS should invest in drones so they can check out those tourist sites. And if there's some car prowlers, they could activate sirens from the drones, take snapshots. Could you imagine that? You're just like hanging out, you're creeping. You hear, whoop, whoop. You look up, it's a drone. Pastrami. It's Travis Pastrana, I think. Pastrami sounds like lunch, and I'm definitely down for some of that right now. You thought he had wings. Red Bull lied. Yes. Yeah, we kind of went a lot past the DFS director conversation, but at least we're talking about tourism stuff, which is cool. Hold on, I'm just going through. James said, revoke IPI's gaming license and bring in other operators. Gaming is definitely a viable industry and will attract plenty of tourists. So, James, I'm with you. I like the idea of doing it. Like, I'm not against, like, when you hear, like, people who are upset about the casino, you hear many different takes on it. The concept of having casinos here does not bother me at all. I think that's kind of cool. I'm really okay with it. I don't have any problems with having a casino in the Cinema or multiple. So I think it's cool. I mean, like, man, when Tinian Dynasty was open and there was nobody there, which always blew me away. Like, you've got like more employees than there are guests at the hotel, and it was cool. So that's it. I never understood that, but then you find out why, money laundering and all that stuff. And I'd be totally fine with it. And I like that better than the poker parlors, for sure. I would want to get rid of all those poker places. Gone. Because you got all the creepers who go in there. Okay, and the Manamcos too. Like, hey, I'd like to, but I want to go in there, smoke my cigarette, and drink some coffee, and just ping, ping, ping. That's it. Well, that sucks. But you also got the creepers with the backpacks. Hashtag backpack creepers. Who are over there selling your stuff that they just took from you. It says cameras are cheaper. Hold on, let's go up. And don't know why DPS admin won't install them around tourist areas. Yeah, cameras at tourist areas are great. Someone's got to be monitoring them. Otherwise, you just find out who took that stuff later. That's why, like, I'm kind of in favor of like a couple of strategic cameras, because at least you can get the cars, that go in and out of like up there. But I also am not a big fan of complete surveillance state, like with cameras on every corner and all that other stuff. Don't want to become China. Don't want to. I really don't love the idea of cameras everywhere. But at the tourist sites, does that make sense? I can see that for sure. Just to make sure that happens. And you got to have them up high enough so people can't like just spray paint them out. And where are you going to put them? How are you going to power it? Oh, you power it by solar. You just have a taller pole. I don't know. Some solutions, some ideas. It says, but yeah, this is one of the things that I want to do in the first place. Let me just message. Okay. All right, so I just messaged the incoming NBA managing director, just to see if we can get her on the show. I'm not expecting this today, by the way. Hey, let's talk about something else real fast. I just saw a message that came in. There's a couple of things I want to do, but one of the things I wanted to show you, where's the events? Events. My event split screen here. Because I want to show you, that's not it. No, that's not it. Hold on. Here it is, right here. This is something for the mayor's office. The mayor of Saipan is looking for your help, and you could win some cash. You could win $300 from the mayor's office. What? Yes. So they're looking for people to get creative. You can be a part of history and get in touch with your creative side by designing the official theme and logo for this year's 79th CNMI Liberation festivities. They're looking for the winning theme and logo. Whoever does will be featured on all of the official materials for the 79th CNMI Liberation festivities. 2, you're going to receive some serious public recognition for all of it, and you're going to win a cash prize of $300. Now, you got to act somewhat fast. You got to submit your theme and design no later than February 28th at 4 p.m. at the Saipan Mayor's office. So get in there. Yeah, no kidding. I hear you, Ann. I saw that just now. But that's what you need to do. So that's it. You have the chance to win some moolah. Now, if you want more details, you can call the mayor's office at 234-6208, or you can contact them via email at cnmiliberation670@gmail.com. All right, guys, we are going to do that, take a real quick break and show you some love to some of our sponsors. So we're not going to be gone for very long. And we're also going to talk about some other good news that happened here in the CNMI just recently. And I know there's a lot of kids who are happy about with what just happened, and hopefully you will be too.
Paradise Dental's giving you the gas. Well, not that kind of gas. You already know that Paradise Dental has the most affordable coverage in the entire Marianas. And now we've got something special just for new customers. And now for a limited time, Paradise Dental is offering free gas vouchers for new signups for their coverage plan. If you sign up for a singles plan, you'll get a $10 gas voucher. If you sign up for a couples plan, that's a $15 gas voucher. And if you sign up for the whole family plan, that's a $20 gas voucher right after your first visit. So hurry down the
where discipline and vision is built. We lead by example, persistence to build. Be the inspiration, they witness the proof. We do what we do by the rules in the book. Be a Lottie where discipline and vision is built. We lead by example, persistence to build. Be the inspiration, they witness the proof. We do what we do by the rules in the book.
That's what I needed. I'm moving. I'm grooving. Woo-hoo. Hey, if this doesn't get you up. Little chair dancing. I was standing up. All right, Marianas, it is 9:01 in the a.m., and I was just refreshing a bunch to see if the new drop from AP came out, and right now it has not. So we're going to find out what's going on with that, but we're just going to talk about two real quick things before we call it a day today. Something that we were definitely happy to see for the folks who go to middle school over there at Hopwood, because for so long they've been waiting for some real legit progress over there. And they've been working on this for a long time, but it's finally coming through where they opened up these new modular prefab classrooms. And they had this ceremony last week at the end, or actually, let's say today's Tuesday. So just the other day, they did this, and this was a really cool thing to see this happen. So that's what it's going to look like. Look at all those covered hallways and everything. So the air will be able to get through, but they're going to be able to move from class to class without getting rained on when the weather gets inclement. These are photos that we got from the governor's office. But look at that. Doesn't that look better than that old blown out school? I mean, eventually they're going to have to put in something permanent, but I have a sneaking suspicion that these are those temporary structures that become permanent. It happens a lot in the CNMI, but it happens a lot all over the place. I mean, just look at our tents, the pods over there at the college. That is something that's quasi-permanent, those tents. How long are those things supposed to last anyway? They're certainly probably not intent on lasting like 8 years. Has it been 8 years? No, we're in year 7 though. We're in year 7 of Tentville in the Marianas, so that's part of it. All right. So anyway, again, checking the updates on AP. It looks like we're not going to get a new one at this time for whatever reason. They have not posted one. Let me see. Is there anything else that I want to get to before we get out of here? I think that was pretty much all the things on our list that we want to talk to you about. I mean, although we did talk about IPI at length today, what we were talking about in the whole thing about are we ready for IPI 2.0? We were talking about the deposit made by the stalking horse investor who was initially saying like IPI targeted this guy or identified this guy as someone that they wanted to buy it. I'll get to that one in a sec. But he initially said that they want to buy it for $10 million. And then the CNMI said, well, you don't get to pick your own buyer. Let's put it up for a bid. So now they're looking at doing that. So he puts down a good faith deposit of $1.25 million, and they're going to keep going. But either way, if they end up being able to buy it for $10 million and then go forward with something else, like the guy's out of Hong Kong, and he's basically like an online DFS. If you search this guy's website, because he's listed as the general manager, which seems like can't be that low, right? He's a resident of Hong Kong, general manager of Top Pride International Ltd, right? Limited. And we checked him out. Well, let me pull up that website so you guys can see it anyway, which is they're a distributor of cosmetic products. He also invests in the Hong Kong stock market and relies on his inheritance for his livelihood. By the way, that's got to be pretty nice, right? I do not rely on inheritance for this at all. But we can go to their page here real quick, and we'll look at their LinkedIn real quick to show you a little bit about them. But we already took a look at it, and this is the translated page, which not a whole lot of English going on here. Hold on. Let's show you what they got. And that's it. So this is Top Pride, where this is the stuff that they sell. This is the guy who is who they're saying that wants to purchase IPI's interests here. Now, I know he won't be purchasing their debt. So what happens to the other? He wants to buy what's here for $10 million. I don't know what happens with the $155 million owed to creditors from IPI. I think it just vanishes into thin air. So that's it. Look at their cooperation partners. This one right here, it's not Lun Feng that we've got, but it's close, right? Anyway. All right, guys. So that's the person who's in the running for getting our shell of a building that was never quite. That's the most transparent building in the CNMI, is right there at the old IPI. All right, so we're looking at their LinkedIn, by the way. It says Top Pride was established in 1997. It's engaged in trading business for over 20 years and become one of the largest perfume, skincare, and watches trader in Southeast Asia. Now, again, this is the way they describe themselves. There's not a whole lot of info in there, and hopefully we'll learn more about this company that could have a lot to do here in the CNMI if they end up being able to purchase it. So I'm looking in your comments. This goes back to the story we hit just before that. It said, sorry, Brad, but PSS Central Office and Board could have finished Hopwood and MHS sooner if they really prioritized it. Oh, absolutely they could have. Absolutely. That could have been done an administration ago. You know why? Remember, don't you remember, though, about all that? What really drug that out? Don't you remember how they were talking about moving Hopwood, selling that property to an investor? You remember all that talk? Maybe you don't. But that happened after the typhoon. That's why they weren't going to rebuild it. They were already talking about it, I think, before the typhoon. But there was potentially an investor who would have bought that space and paid to build a new school higher up the hill in Asperdido. And that never happened, but that was a big talk. And if you don't remember it, you must not have been hanging around the same little groups I was in. But that was it. Because it's beachfront property right there. It's a great spot for somebody to build something like that. So that's what the talk was all about, and it never happened. So they made a modular building out there, so that'll be nice. And then they're going to have to knock down the old buildings because I heard one of the problems with the FEMA funding on it was that we didn't do it the right way after Sodalore, so that they didn't want to give us money after U2 because we didn't use their standards for, I don't know if it was contracting or building. Anyway, so that's it. All right, guys, it is 9:09, and we are going to wrap it up for the day. I just wanted to make sure we snuck that thing in there before we got out, and we are done. And let's see, has it hit 80 yet? Yeah, we're at 82 degrees already, and what a difference. Just now it was 75 degrees when we told you about it earlier, and the humidity was at 94%. Well, now it's 82 degrees, and the humidity has dropped, all the way down to 74%. So what a big change. And we're looking at that high near 85 today, so we're getting pretty close to it now. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm checking out let's see. Oh, hold on. Too much theorizing while students are breathing the chemical smell of those tents till now at Dialog Academy. Yeah. Luisa says, according to the principal, the money was rewarded to Hopwood, but there was something else preventing them from fixing the school. Yeah. There was a whole bunch of mess going on. By the way, you know what's interesting? Spending some time up at the airport. I want to see when our new, hold on, what is that sound, by the way? All right. Well, anyway, I can't mess with that. I want to see what's going on with the new commuter terminal because it looks so nice from the outside now. Seeing it from the tarmac side and seeing it from the other side, I want to see when we're going to open that and when it's ready for business. When we can start moving out of the shelter, the container airport that we have. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in today. It was Good Morning Marianas, but it's a great morning when you're here. Couldn't do it without you and wouldn't want to do it without you. Have a great day. If you've got other ideas for things that we could do, let us know. If you got stories that you think we should chase, let us know. These are all great ideas that you guys have been sending us, and we're definitely interested. So have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning right here.
Good morning, Marianas. So many things we got to discuss. Happy day, Tirawami greetings. To Rhoda, Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. For all your island news. From a beautiful place with Pacific views, it's always so much fun. Good morning, Marianas.